Hi, everyone. Welcome to Page One. I'm Zita Christian. My guest tonight is a teacher, an animator, a writer, a cartoonist, an inspiring man, and a good friend of mine I've known for a number of years from the Bushnell. And tonight he becomes the first guest on Page One to be on 3 shows. Welcome back, Joe Young.
Zita, it's a pleasure to be here.
Good, good. It must feel like old home, huh?
It does, but there's always something new.
Yes, there is something
I
new.
noticed the voiceover in the opening montage.
Yes.
Whoever that is, standing voice.
Yes,
I've never
he
noticed
does.
that before.
He does.
Yeah.
Michael Grady. He's
Michael
a good
Grady,
friend of mine.
okay.
Yeah, he has a great voice.
Great voice.
So a lot of things have happened. I know when you were on the show a while back, we were talking about the animated special, It's Christmas, Dr. Joe.
That's right,
Which
that's
was wonderful, and you were so kind to let us show some of the clips of that, and I know that did very well. And I know since then you have a book, Scruples, The Legend Begins.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that, but I also want to talk about a whole new project you have going on, Diamond Rough, but we'll save that for a minute. Let's talk about Scruples,
Okay.
The Legend Begins.
Okay.
So tell us about that.
Well, Scruples Legend Begins is a graphic novel featuring my Scruples characters. Scruples characters are these urban youth who live in a group home, and they have to deal with everyday social foibles in life and being kids. And you know, they're kind of like adults, but in a child's body, and they deal with all sorts of issues. And actually, the book it's a graphic novel. The book has 2 stories. The first story is about Christmas, and that was based on the animated film that we did.
Yeah.
And the second story deals with the lead character, Dr. Joe, and his sidekick, Bubblegum, having a store and dealing with being an entrepreneur and trying to keep track of inventory and folks taking from them and making more money. So it's kind of like a introduction to being an entrepreneur for kids.
There's a little real life stuff in there.
A lot of real life
Now,
stuff.
you mentioned that the book is based on your character's scruples, and I just want to be sure that people in the audience know, if they were not aware already, that comic strip, Scruples, was a nationally syndicated
Yep.
strip.
Yep.
Very, very fine script, very inspirational. Never any violence, always a lot of good messages with those characters. And I know you carry that through the other work here.
Yep, yeah. Well, you know, we talk about Diamond Rough. We had to step it up a little bit, so we had to eat. So it's not as wholesome, but it's still positive.
But it's also for an older audience.
It's for an older audience, I'm
let's
joking,
just
but yeah.
get right into
Yep,
that then,
yep.
and let's talk about Diamond Rough. Now, I know that this new project is not just the novel, but also a movie. So let's talk about the book first. So tell us what Diamond Rough is all about.
Okay, Diamond Rough is a novel that I wrote.
It's not a graphic novel.
No, this is a novel. It's my first novel. It's about a con artist who meets a preacher. They're 28 years old. Diamond Rough is a multimillionaire, but he's made his money the wrong way. And then there's another 28-year-old, Reverend Trek Woods, who's a minister. And in a turn of events, they come together and they change the world for the better. And they change the lives of millions of people. It has romance in it. It has all kinds of twists and turns. And I think it's my best piece to date. When I did the book, I wrote the book like 7 years ago. It was just sitting on the shelf. But, you know, as I started to do a lot of things, I saw a lot of people didn't pursue their dreams.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, let me do something a little bit different. I said, let me start this project called Diamond Rough. It's really a project, just not a novel. And so using social platforms and social networks, people tune in every week on our YouTube and see the struggle, the left curves, the victory. So every week for the last 50 weeks, we bring them inside the Diamond Rough Project at Young Studios so they can see how I turned the manuscript into a book, got book investors, how we're able to get national distribution through Baker and Taylor and get it on the shelves in Barnes and Nobles. So the public is following us along. And on our website, we have a daily blog so they can see my daily struggles. So when somebody comes into this whole Diamond Rough project, they're inspired to say, if this guy Joe's just an ordinary guy can do it, I can do it too. So it's more than just a book, it's a project, and a % of the book proceeds goes to diabetes research.
I do want to talk about that a little bit later because I know that's important to you personally. But I want to go back, something you just mentioned about the studios, Young Studios. You have a studio in downtown Hartford where you do what? Tell us about that.
Young Studios is an advertising, animation, and film production studio, where we do everything from logo work to commercials, blah, blah, blah. But because I've been doing youth development for over 20 years,
Yes.
we've dedicated 3,000 of the 5,000 square foot studio to youth development so they can learn Photoshop, animation, gaming. We have a gift shop. We do drama. We do green screening with video. So it's a really fun place, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to help build it.
I remember in 2007 when you were on the show, and you talked about, in fact, maybe it was even a little earlier than that, you talked about the goal was to build this animation studio in Hartford. And you were starting, you had some people who wanted to help, who wanted to be involved in the project, but at the time it was a pretty big dream. It's reality now.
I mean, yeah, it was a grind. It was extremely difficult, you know.
Yeah.
But when you have good people around you, when you have smart people around you, it's all possible. It's all possible.
So do the kids come down? Is it like summer camp?
Yeah,
Is
we
it
have after school
or?
summer camp. We do special events, and the
Okay.
kids don't want to go home. It's just a incredible place, and the way we set up the decor, it's kind of like it has a 1970s feel to it, but with technology. So it's a little bit different. I think the kids like the recording studio the most, but they like the animation too, and so it's just a fun place, not just for kids but adults as well.
Well, and it's a place to be creative. I think that is so key.
Yep.
I want to go back to Diamond Rough here, because you were talking about one of the characters being a con artist, one of the characters being a preacher, and together, I haven't read it yet. So, but from the research that I did, because you had a lot of really good stuff on your website, their lives collide and they make changes. Is it a religious novel? Is it an inspirational novel? Is it who's the audience? Who's it for?
The audience is, I mean, it has an urban feel to it because Diamond is from the street, but yet the heading of each chapter has a Bible verse.
Okay.
Then when Diamond speaks, it has a life lesson, like a motivational book. So it's a lot of different things. It could
Okay.
very well be next to Who Moved My Cheese or Peaks and Valleys. I mean,
Okay.
so it's just for everybody. You know, I don't really write for a particular audience. I just write what comes out.
And then the audience will find it.
Right, but it is a street story. In the adult version, I did to express this character. I had to use profanity. I got, you know, love-making scene in it. But then I wanted my daughter and kids to appreciate it, so we kind of made it kid-friendly. So a 13-year-old can read it too, the young adult version.
There are two versions?
Yep.
I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Okay, so other than perhaps toning down some of the language or the scenes, is the story itself
Oh, it's the same exact thing. We just took out words.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Very interesting. So what's been the response?
Oh, we've gotten a really, really good response. I mean, we've been over to 40 schools throughout Hartford talking about the project. It's in, you know, like I said, Barnes & Noble's, Borders, Amazon. Folks are picking it up, and it's just touching folks. You know what I'm saying? Not because I wrote it, but because it's a story that a lot of people can identify with it.
Well, I want to ask the real judge. What does Paige say?
My daughter Paige is 14, and she's my biggest critic.
Good. You need fresh eyes, honest eyes.
And she said that she liked it, and I knew she liked it because she read it like 3 times.
Oh, that's great.
So that was like,
so good.
and that's more important than saying getting a good review and you know, things like that, because in the story, the character grows from being this hardcore con artist to being a better person.
And the minister. Does the minister change?
Oh, the minister changes too, where he's very conscious of what people are thinking about him. And when he learns from Diamond is sometimes you can't give a hoot about what people think about you. There's a part in the book where he has to put on this big march. So he has a dilemma. He has sponsors like, you know, Coca-Cola and some cigarette companies. Does he do the march or doesn't he do the march? And so these are different issues he has to grapple with, and he gets Diamond's assist. So they both grow from each other.
Yeah.